welcome back to my channel. It's Christina here. I hope you're all doing really well. I'm so excited for today's video. As you probably saw from the title, I have the full Conjuring collection here from Lethal Cosmetics. So if this is your first time watching one of my videos, thanks so much for clicking on this. My name's Christina. I'm a huge makeup lover and collector, especially indie makeup brands and especially horror themed makeup as well. Myself and my husband are absolutely huge fans of The Conjuring, so I was unbelievably excited when Lethal announced this collab, so I had to pick up the full collection. So it is quite late at night when I'm filming this. It's I think nearly midnight now, it must be, or past midnight. I'm just really trying to get this video uploaded soon. I kind of have to film at night time just because I am a mum of 3 boys. We both work as well during the day, so night time is really the only time that I get to film. I just wanted to explain as well that I am actually partially deaf as well, so completely deaf in one ear, and then my other ear I wear hearing aids, so it can kind of cause me to talk a bit different or kind of pronounce things a bit differently sometimes when I'm talking. So just to explain why if I ever sound a bit funny. So I'm going to be going over everything to do with this collection now today, swatches, overview, and I'm going to be doing a demo for this look I'm wearing now today. So with that out of the way, let's get into the collection. So we'll start off with the swatches. Okay, so let's get into testing these products. I'm coming to you with a bare face for the first time, which I'm a bit paranoid about because I do have a bit of discoloration, mostly from pregnancies, a bit of sun damage probably on my face as well, despite wearing SPF every single day. But this is the first time I've come on camera with absolutely nothing on my skin, just moisturizer, so please be kind. But I just wanted to test out this blood drop primer. So this sounds like exactly the sort of primer that I would typically go for, and it's supposed to be a grippy primer, so it looks really cool. You can actually see the little flecks of red. I'd say these will disperse once you actually apply it to your skin. So I'm just going to use my hands for this as well. I would usually just use my hands for these sorts of grippy primers, so you will see. Okay, I can't actually feel any texture or anything, so I think the little particles must have actually just dispersed really fast. I can't feel any grainy texture or anything like that, so I do feel a slight bit of attack. It's nothing too extreme. Okay, so my camera turned off because it overheated there again. I'm really gonna have to figure out the situation with the lights because I have to have the bright ring light on because my room is so dark, but then the camera keeps overheating with the lights, so I'm gonna have to figure it out. But like I was saying there is supposed to be a slight grip to that primer. It actually doesn't feel that grippy, very slight tack to it. So definitely not as grippy as, say, the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer or those sorts of grippy ones, but we'll see. It does feel really nice and moisturising, which I like as well. My skin does kind of tend to get quite dry with some foundations, so we'll apply foundation on top and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's what my foundation is looking like over the primer. I am actually testing out the new reformulated Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless foundation as well. I do really love this foundation, but this is my first time trying the reformulated version, so we'll see how that holds up. It doesn't actually look matte. There is actually a bit of a dew off it as I'm looking at it here on camera, but when I was applying it, it did kind of feel quite matte, and I don't know if that's the foundation and the reformulated version or if it's the primer making it feel that way. It doesn't actually look matte though, which is a good thing, because I do like a bit of a dew in my foundations. I'd say I prefer a kind of satin finish. So we'll see how the primer holds up. I don't have a long day ahead of me. I'm actually filming this at night time, so I probably should have planned this a bit better and filmed it earlier in the day so that I could do a full day wear test, but we'll see how it holds up for the next couple of hours anyway. Okay, so I have my eye primer on, so we'll start with the eyeshadow now. I think I'm going to do the blues on the top lid with this gorgeous shimmer down here. I think it's called Oppression, and then I think I might use the kind of purpley burgundy tone on the lower eyelid, and I really want to use the purple liner that I came with as well, so hopefully that'll tie in nicely together. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the deep blue shade Evil's Whisper, and I'm going to use a Sigma E27. I desperately need to wash my brushes. I'm running really low on all my brushes, but luckily I do have this one still clean. So I'll go in now and just kind of start stamping this on the outer corner. So I'm going to take this shade, that's a really nice blue shade, I'm going to take this really deep into the crease and sort of down onto the lid at the sides like that, just to kind of create a bit of a wing effect. And then I'll start stamping that into the rest of my socket here. I have really deep set eyelids as well, so I really do kind of have to press shades in there just to make sure I get the depth that I want. So let me know in the comments down below if you're a fan of the Conjuring movies. We are absolutely huge fans in our house. It's probably one of my favourite horror movie franchises, I'd say, if not my favourite one. I just think they're all done really well. My least favourite was probably the third one, but number 1, 2 and 4 were just amazing. So we actually saw the 4th one in the cinema last rites, I think that's what it was called, there a couple of weeks ago when it came out, just before we got married, and I just thought it was amazing. Like, if you're a fan of the movies, I'd say definitely go see it in the cinema rather than watching it at home or whatever, but oh, just absolutely amazing. But I know some people aren't really into horror in the first place. I'm a huge horror fan. Like, I've always loved horror movies. They're like my comfort movies at this point. But yeah, so I suppose if you're buying this collection, it's more than likely because you're a huge horror fan or a fan of the movies. Okay, so I really love how that blue is looking so far. It's a really nice shade of blue. So I'm just going to go in with this sort of tealy kind of grey shade called Demonology, just to start blending out that blue. Yeah, I thought I would do a more sort of wearable look with this collection today, if you can call this wearable. It is for me, but rather than doing a Halloween look, I just kind of wanted to test out the products like I would be using them every day, because when Halloween is over, that's what I'm going to be using them for, just kind of everyday or regular makeup looks, I suppose. So the fact that I've already got a few other Halloween looks planned, and I'm sure you've probably already seen some more kind of scary or Halloween looks using this collection, so I just thought it would be a better idea to just kind of do a more like regular wearable look. And those blues are blending out really well so far. Okay, so those blues blended out really well, but I'm just going to go in again on the outskirts of that with this lightest grey shade called Occult Museum, and I'm just going to really buff that on the edges just so that we have a really nice sort of seamless blend. But Those blues so far are looking really good, in my personal opinion. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the shimmer shades now. I just have a bit of my e.l.f. grippy primer on a flat sort of shader brush, and I'm just going to apply that onto the lid, just so we have something to adhere the shimmers to. I think I mentioned in my last video as well, I've been doing this lately as a primer for shimmers, and just finding out it's been working really well actually. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the shade Oppression now, and just using the same brush flipped over, I'm going to start stamping that on the lid. And okay, so it's taken a bit of work to pick it up on the brush just because it is a bit more of a flaky shade, but I do want to pick it up on the brush just because I want it to be quite precise rather than using my finger. And with my nails at the moment, they're quite long, so I really do need to use a brush. But yeah, it takes a bit longer. I did get it on there eventually, but it is quite a thick sort of glittery shade, so once it's on, but yeah, it does take a bit of work, I suppose, just getting it onto the brush. And there's what the shade Oppression looks like over the lid. It's a gorgeous shade now that it's on. I think the blues that I have on the lid are kind of making it pull in a more silver direction, but I think if you used it with the burgundy or the purple shade, it would actually bring out the lilac in it. It's kind of like a cross between a lilac and a silver, I'd say. And just going back in with that deep blue shade, Evil's Whisper, just on the outskirts of that shimmer here on the outside of the eyelid, just to kind of merge the two together. Okay, so my camera overheated and decided to turn itself off again. So I went off and did my liner and lashes. I used the purple eyeliner, and I do love how it turned out in the end. It wasn't the easiest application. So it is a bit of a drier formula, so it didn't go on the easiest, especially over the shimmer shade that I used on the eyelid. It was kind of, I did have to drag it over a good few times just to kind of get that pigment to lay down. I'd say it would apply much better over matte shades, and the fact the colour that it is as well, so purpley blue shades aren't the easiest to formulate as well. So I'll have to try out this liner a bit more. I do love how it turned out overall in the end, it wasn't the easiest application, so just to bear in mind. Okay, so just going to go in with this purpley kind of burgundy shade called Conduit, and I'm just going to use that on the lower lash line now, just on a sort of smudger brush, and just sort of try to connect it to that purple liner. That's a really nice sort of deep plum shade. I absolutely love shades like this. I feel like I've been using them all the time lately, but I just can't get enough. I feel like it's definitely my favourite sort of autumnal and winter shade as well. Okay, so there's a slight bit of patchiness on the outer corner here, but I think that's because I didn't go back in. I kind of wiped away to clean up my eye, and I didn't go back in with my eye primer, so it could just be user error. Okay, so I had to wipe off the outer corner there just because it really was not adhering. I think I just wiped off my primer and concealer when I was cleaning up my eye, so I just went back in with a bit of concealer just to kind of give it a base, and I'm just going to go in with a bit more of that burgundy plum shade and just kind of stamp it on the outer corner here. Yeah, and it's adhering to my lip, the outer part, much better now. So it obviously was just the fact that I had wiped off my primer and concealer there. Okay, so now I'm going back in with that shade Holy Lights, just the really light pink shade, and I'm just going to start putting that, placing it below the plummy sort of burgundy shade, just to try and start blending that out a bit better. Okay, so my camera died again. Really sorry about that. So I finished off the bottom of my eyes. I also used the Colourpop gel liner in Charmer, just in the bottom waterline. I thought it would work really well just with this kind of plummy shade. And I've also done my concealer and then liquid bronzer as well. So now I'm just going to go in with the Sanctified Seal setting powder, and we're going to see how this works. I am a bit wary of this just because it is a cream to powder formula. I'm worried that it might actually lift up my foundation underneath. Usually I do just prefer something like the Huda Beauty baking powder just because it is so finely milled, but we'll see how this works anyway. If I do find that it does start lifting up my foundation, I might just park it and go in with my regular setting powder. Just come with a little kind of powder puff here just underneath this layer. It's really nice. It is a really cool concept, so we'll give it a chance. So just swirling a bit of this on the little puff. And I'm just going to go in first of all, I think just on the chin area, because I think we'll be able to see and kind of set that as the basis for the rest of the face. Okay, so I just zoomed in slightly and just going to start putting this now just on the lower part of my face. I just want to see what sort of effect this gives. Yeah, and I can see it's already started lifting up my foundation. I'll go in with a tiny bit more just to see, and I'll kind of press it on the jawline just. Yeah, I feel like that has actually started to lift up my foundation. I don't know if you can really see it as well on camera, but I can kind of start to see my skin coming through underneath the foundation there, so I think I'm gonna leave that for now. So it is a really cool concept. I don't know if it would work for someone who kind of relies on heavy duty setting powders like myself, like I said, with the Huda Beauty setting powder or something like that. So I do have combination oily skin as well, and although it can look quite dry at the start of the day or when I first put on makeup kind of throughout the day, I do kind of tend to get oily patches. So I don't know if something like this is going to really be for me, but it could be for you depending on what sort of skin type you have. Okay, so I set my face with my regular Huda Beauty setting powder and then went in with blush as well. It's the 17 blush in Plum Blossom. So now we're going to go in with the Music Box highlighter. The packaging is absolutely amazing. Just without trying to blind you here, it has the same swirl effect as the Music Box from the first Conjuring movie. Just absolutely amazing. It looks kind of like a peachy gold sort of highlighter, but the formula looked really nice, really smooth when I swatched it, so we'll see what that looks like now. Okay, so just gonna start applying that to the top of my cheek. Oh wow, I feel like you can really see that. That is gorgeous. That is a really, really smooth formula. Okay, so I absolutely love the highlighter so far. It's so smooth and it's like really, really high impact and blinding, but just without being that really sort of like chunky glittery type of highlighter. I usually don't go for highlighters like that at all, just because I find they just tend to like emphasize everything on your skin, like texture, and they just don't really sit very well. But this is really, really high impact and I feel like it's actually really blinding, but it just at the same time it's so smooth. Okay, this definitely is one of my favourite products from the collection so far, I think. And the fact that it does sort of have a peachy gold sort of undertone, it's slightly warmer, so I think it would work on a variety of skin tones as well. I am extremely pale, as you can see, so I don't know how it would work on really deep skin tones, but it is quite a kind of, not sheer, but it is a really smooth and sort of buildable formula, so I think it would actually work on deeper skin tones as well, and hopefully it wouldn't leave a cast. But I just really love how that looks. I feel like it's just so blinding, so definitely love the highlighter so far. So we'll just move on to the next product now, which is the lipsticks, and I think this is the last product, yeah, the last product now that I have to test. So I'm going to use the black shade called Balak's Vengeance. So it's not the most matte black lipstick I've seen. It does look like it has a bit of a sheen to it. So we'll see what it looks like on the lips. Hopefully it is sort of like a moisturising matte lipstick, but I'm going to line my lips anyway, because I would always line my lips when I wear lipstick, and I'm just going to use a black eyeliner because I don't actually have a black lip liner. I really need to pick one up, so I'm just going to go in and line my lips. Okay, so I feel like I did a really terrible job with lining my lips with that eyeliner, but we'll just go in now with the lipstick and clean up this outline later. Okay, application could have been better, but I feel like it's not the absolute worst either. I actually really like how this lipstick feels. So the lipstick feels really nice so far. It is actually really moisturising. I feel like you can probably see as well, there's definitely a sheen to it. It's not completely matte, which I do actually like. It feels really moisturising on the lips. So we'll see how that holds up. I'd say you would get a lot of transfer. It's not like it's going to be a liquid lipstick where it sets down. So I don't know how this would do if you were kind of wearing it out and about, or if you had to wear it to an event. So far it feels really nice, really moisturising, and I actually really like the sheen to it as well without having to use a gloss. Okay, so we're pretty much done now, but I was almost forgetting about the eyeliner stamps that I wanted to use. So I'm going to go in with the brown shade, which has the little star stamp, and this one is called Hide and Clap, and I'm just going to try and place little stars, I think, here just under the brow bone. So hopefully I don't mess this up. That is so cute. I probably should have zoomed you in when I was actually applying that, but I feel like that is so cute. I love how that turned out. Okay, so finally here is the finished look, and I'll include some close-ups now and then be back to give you my final thoughts about the collection. So we'll go through each product that I used individually. So I'll start with my favourite product, which is the Music Box highlighter. So this actually surprised me. It ended up being my favourite product from the collection. I thought my favourite would have been the eyeshadow palette, but this highlighter just really surprised me. It's an absolutely amazing formula, really smooth on the skin. It does have very, very fine sort of glitter particles, but they don't show up on the skin as glitter, which I really like. I just prefer a much more kind of smooth highlighter. I just think they're way more flattering. But even though it's so smooth on the skin, it still gives you a really like beaming effect. You could build this up if you wanted that really sort of highlighter visible from space sort of look, but I kind of prefer a more subtle highlighter, but I still think this is really high impact and just absolutely gorgeous. Just the packaging as well, I absolutely love. So yeah, this surprised me. It ended up being my favourite product from the collection. My second favourite product ended up being the eyeshadow palette. I absolutely love the lenticular motion artwork on the front as well, and the colour story as well. Really, really nice. It is very cool toned, so if you're not someone that really kind of gravitates towards cool tones, I don't know how much use you're going to get out of this. I love the fact that we have the neutral shades as well. There are like browns and sort of taupey browns in here. We also sort of have a kind of cooler bronzy gold shade, I would say, which I haven't used yet, but I'm excited to get more uses out of this. This would be the sort of palette I think that would be really good for traveling as well, just because it does have those neutral shades and it is small, it's compact, it's really light as well. So I had no issues with the formula of the shadows that I used today anyway, and the blues applied really well. The blues in particular as well didn't take long to build up or blend out at all. The shimmer that I have on the eyelid I love as well, really sparkly and high impact, and I absolutely love the plum burgundy shade on the lower lid as well. So can't wait to play around with this palette more. I know I'll get a lot of use out of it personally anyway. So my next favourite product is probably the eyeliners and stamp pens. So I only used two of the shades today. Obviously I used the purple liner side to do the top of my eyelid, and then I used the brown little star stamp. The only thing I would say about the eyeliner pen, I'm not sure if it's just specific to that purple shade that I used, but it did take a bit of building up on the top eyelid, and I reckon that was because I had that really intense shimmer down underneath. So I'll have to play around with these more. I'd say the brown and the black are more pigmented and probably do glide over a bit easier, but I'll play around with them a bit more and report back. Absolutely no issues with the stamp side so far anyway, at least not with the brown shade that I used. I think the stamp came out really well, absolutely no issues with that. It was just really easy to just plonk on. Yeah, I can't wait to play around with the other shades of these, and I know I'll get a lot of use out of this as well. I love eyeliner. I wear eyeliner pretty much every single day with any makeup look that I use, so I know I'll get a lot of use out of these eyeliners as well. So next up we have the lipsticks. Obviously I only used the black shade today. I really love how this turned out and really happy that I actually have a black lipstick back in my collection now. I was only actually saying recently that as big as my collection is, I had no black lipstick bullet, so I'm really happy to have this in my collection now. It feels really smooth, really moisturising on my lips. My lips are severely dry at the moment, so I appreciate that. Even though I do love a matte bullet lipstick, it's really nice to have a bit of a the kind of sheen on the lips and that moisturising feel. So I'll report back on these as well. I'm really excited to use the other Annabelle shade, the kind of red burgundy shade, so I know I'll get a lot of use out of those as well. Okay, so next up we have the face primer. So I will need to play around with this a bit more. It's kind of hard for me to give a verdict on it today just because I have only had my makeup on not that long. It did feel really nice when I first applied it. The little blood particles kind of dispersed on the skin. You couldn't feel any grainy texture or anything, and it did feel nice and moisturising. So I'll have to report back on this one as well, but so far so good. It did kind of make my skin feel a bit matte, but I think that was also the foundation as well. It is quite a matte foundation when you first apply it, and it does kind of get a bit dewier throughout the day. So I'll have to report back on this one as well, but so far no issues with it. Okay, and the last product that I tried out today, the Sanctified Seal setting powder. So I really wanted to love this powder. I wasn't sure how it was going to work with my skin and with the sort of foundations that I like to wear, but unfortunately when I put it on, hopefully the camera did pick it up, but it did just start to lift my foundation, and I could just see a slight bit of patchiness coming through and see my skin tone kind of coming through the foundation as well. So I don't know how well this would work to actually set down your base. I usually need a bit more of a heavy duty powder, again like I mentioned, like the Huda Beauty or something, to really lock my foundation into place. I wonder how this would actually work if you were to take this out and about as a touch-up powder. I wonder how it would work on top of existing setting powder, so I'll have to report back on this as well. I really wanted to love it because it is a really cool concept, I think, so not sure how it works with my skin type. But if anyone else has tried this and you've found a way to make it work for you, do let me know in the comments below as well, because I'd really love to know how to get this to work. Okay, so very last product today is the 5 nail polishes. So obviously I didn't actually try any of these on camera. I'll have to report back on these as well. I actually get my nails done professionally now. I used to actually do my nails myself at home, but this year I switched back to getting them done professionally, so I won't be able to use these on my fingernails, but I suppose you could do this if you were just doing your own toenails. So I really do hope to get some use out of these. The shades look really amazing, and the fact that the collection came with the magnet tool as well, really good. So hopefully I will get some use out of these. I just can't report on them today. So overall, I really love this collection so far. There's some really amazing standout products. Obviously a few products that didn't really work for me necessarily, but they could end up working for you. So I'd love to know, let me know if you picked up any of these products, or if you're planning on picking up any of these products. Also, if there's any other ways that I could use that setting powder, like I said before, that would maybe work for me a bit better. So who is this collection for? I would say obviously it's clearly aimed at people who are fans of the Conjuring series or horror movies in general. I really enjoyed using this collection. I knew obviously as soon as it was sneak peeked that I was going to be picking up this collection, pieces from it, if not the whole collection, just because we are such big Conjuring fans. Just the fact that most of the pieces in the collection just can be used day to day as well. The eyeliner pens, the eyeshadow palette, the highlighter, I would all use them just in my day-to-day makeup. I know I'll just get lots of use out of this in my day-to-day makeup as well. And I just wanted to add as well, don't ever feel pressured to buy makeup. I know there's a lot of new releases, especially at this time of year. It can be really easy to fall into the trap of feeling like you have to pick up a lot of the new releases, but you really don't. Just watch some videos and make up your mind about if it's actually something that you want to add to your collection as well. Personally, I'm really happy that I picked up this collection, but it's just a matter of making the decision yourself and seeing this, if this is something that you really need to pick up, or are you going to shop your stash? Is there pieces in your collection that are already quite similar to this? So if you did find this video useful, and if you're enjoying my content so far, I'd love if you could subscribe to my channel and stick around. Leave me a comment down below, let me know if you're planning on picking up any pieces from this collection, or if you already have. So as always, I will be creating a lot more looks with this collection over on my Instagram page, so I'll leave the handle down below if you'd like to follow me over there as well. Okay, so I think that was everything. Thank you so much for your time and for watching this video, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Take care, bye!